Welcome to the Samuele Tini Show and our Oppenheimer Research Conference 2025 special with live and on-site conversation with African researchers and leaders turning science into solution for biodiversity, climate resilience, and livelihoods. The conference is organized by Oppenheimer Generation Research and Conservation, one of Africa's leading independent organization for African-led science. This year's theme is Preserving Our Precious Planet. We will explore biodiversity loss, landscape ecology, climate, wildlife economies, and heritage with African scientists for Africa. I am your host, Samuele Tini.
Welcome to a new discussion here at the conference. And today we are going to navigate an important dilemma. How to foster sustainable development, especially in countries like South Africa that are emerging and they have energy needs and people needs towards and also respecting the environment and respecting conservation. And we do it today with somebody that studied at land deployment of green energy, the green dilemma, Merlyn Nomusa Nkomo, who is an ornithologist and is expert in raptors at the University of Cape Town. It's a pleasure to have you, Merlyn.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Samuel.
And Merlyn, before going there, I would like to discuss with you a bit more about yourself, how you have entered this world.
It was all purely coincidence. I really love biology. And while in university, I birded for the first time in my second year. And I've never turned back. I love birds. They give me so much joy, both in my work. It does not feel like work, but in my work and just in bird watching. So that's how I became a raptor biologist. I started my work with vultures, rehabilitating vultures.
Merlyn, your research is so important because we are living in the future of the world. This is the African century, population boom, and there is also need for sustainability. So especially South Africa has been on the news about load shedding and now the big news for decarbonizing the grid. However, you have seen also problems in that, especially the wind deployment. It can be detrimental to wildlife issues. So can you explain a bit what is your research about and which are your findings?
So my research is in navigating the green dilemma. We have biodiversity that is being affected. It's not just birds, but in developing, we clear land. We open certain areas for new species to come in and be affected. We're changing the environment, if you could say. So there's more to the green dilemma than just bird fatalities. So we are trying to say that this shouldn't be a dilemma because climate action in producing, developing renewable energy is something we want. But biodiversity loss shouldn't be, the cost of it. What is the middle ground? So my work is on the movement ecology of an endemic species, a near endemic called the jackal buzzard. It's an understudied species. A lot is still to be found out about it, but it's the most killed by wind turbines. So my work is finding the middle ground of how do we conserve the species better and how do we research and accumulate knowledge that protects not just it, but a lot of other birds in the process.
And then I want to ask you how we can do that, because it's often said, it is easy said, but how you can do it, because some critics might tell you, okay, this is an externality. We need the energy. We need now to develop. We need to craft our way. So how do you respond to that critic and how you can have a win-win situation?
I think we need to be pragmatic. People say, let's be pragmatic when they're speaking down on environmentalists that want to protect. But I dare say that people that think environmental harm is an externality that can't be avoided are also not being pragmatic. I think we need to apply ourselves as people in finding solutions. We've been harnessing wind for different energy needs, for water, for many centuries. And now it is inevitable that, it's growing as an industry for renewable energy. And it's actually desirable because the alternative to that is the climate impacts we are seeing. So being pragmatic will entail that we become adaptive. We study, we need to catch up in Africa in studying our birds and how they're related. They're relating to development. We know a lot of our biodiversity hotspots. We need to direct development away from those. We know a lot of our birds' activity. We need to direct development and work with development hand in hand so that the impacts are mitigated and, if possible, avoided.
And that is an important perspective because it's easy to downplay, but on the other side, it's important to have win-win situation. And from your presentation here at the conference, I was struck really by also simple solution can really halve or more than halve deaths. So can you explain a bit more about that?
So there are many mitigation methods that are being explored. None of them are a panacea. A simple passive one, and I say simple generously because it's actually very expensive and a lot has to be considered. But that is blade painting. It was tested by smaller wind farm in about 2020, I would like to say, by patterning blades black. They really reduced drastically the amount of white-tailed eagles that were being killed by wind turbines. The same intervention was tried in the Netherlands, and it wasn't very effective in a different environment altogether and different species altogether. It's being trialed right now in South Africa, and it's showing promise. It's showing good promise. So the thing we have to do is really try. There's also an opportunity with shutdown on demand, picking species that are heavily affected per site or per ecoregion and understanding their movements and either using, technology like radar or human observers, which we need in Africa with our unemployment issues. Even I was at a conference in Montpellier on wind impacts. People are even trialing using bioacoustics sensors for bats, which are heavily affected by wind turbines as well. So using technology to help us shut down turbines at critical times for migration of species, activity of species, breeding birds. But that needs collaboration and working hand in hand with developers who are investing so much in this equipment. That needs working hand in glove with the engineers that create this equipment and also companies that finance and insure this equipment. So there are a lot of opportunities for mitigating and adapting as we go. But the most important thing is stakeholders working together and having the same mind for protecting biodiversity into the future.
And let me ask a subsequent question on the stakeholder. Have you seen from your research, are you bringing on board, the policy side, the stakeholders, the developers and the communities? And how is seen the response?
Fortunately, South Africa's renewable development sector really is a thriving community of like-minded people. Wanting to develop in the renewable sector means you not just have an eye for business, but you also care for the environment. That's why you want to contribute this way with renewable energy versus fossil fuels. So we have forums of different stakeholders that come together, working for birds, working for bats, and that sharing of knowledge. It's not the best. It's not all 100% effective, but there's a lot more sharing of information, of research outputs, asking of questions and ways forward, and working together in that way. I've spoken to not policymakers per se, but people in government offices that offer the permits or review how development is going. And there's always room to improve. But in South Africa particularly, stakeholders are working really well together. It's a push and pull game. You win some, but all of them have one goal, and it's trying to reduce mortalities and trying to reduce, in the end, the amount of fossil fuels and carbon that we are burning and putting into the atmosphere.
No, so it sounds like it's a positive outcome that is there. So there is the policy push, the stakeholder push, also the understanding and the willingness to work, coupled with this promising and simple, the painting and others intervention, passive, that really can help. So, as a closing question, do you see the future of South Africa being green and being putting also together, the conservation of the huge heritage that is here and the biodiversity?
Yeah, the future question is a difficult one because we are all hopeful that the future is greener. We are all hopeful that the future is more biodiverse and we do not continue to lose species the rate we are. But the groundwork has been laid in the last 10 years of South Africa developing wind energy, 10 or more years for stakeholder community that is working together, working well and very accountable to each other. It's just a matter of us catching up. The world is developing in the fourth industrial revolution already. There's so much AI going on. There's so much to catch up to as Africa in development. And I'm just hoping that, work that takes time, like research and conservation, can, work fast enough to mitigate for some of the harms that the development is going to bring. But I'm positive with the investment the government is putting towards renewable energy. It shows they care for the environment and for the carbon footprint of the country. So yes, I'm very hopeful. I think we're going to coexist. We have to develop Africa, as we know that we're moving towards a future where Africa could either be the answer to the world's problems or the biggest problem for the world with the number of youth we're going to have. And so it's an opportunity for me as a young person. I see that as opportunity, and I hope it's going to mean an opportunity for our biodiversity as well.
And thank you so much for sharing these wonderful insights on our often overlooked aspects. So, sometimes we want to do good without also taking in consideration all the externalities.
Absolutely.
And really, it's a wonderful research, and I'm sure it's very important for the policies and to have a win-win relation with the environment and the sustainable development. Thank you so much, Merlyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you satisfied after this wonderful episode? Let's continue together our sustainability journey.